the sniper early in the draft. Do we feel like Mystique have enough answers to address this mid lane sniper?
I can see why they might. My big issue is if Mystique try and fight before the BKB comes out on the Primal Beast, because I think this lane is actually going to be fairly decent for Meteor, right? Like, they've got the Glimpse, and Disruptors really like to level up the Glimpse these days, not just to have that heavy reduction on the cooldown, but it's actually just about as efficient in terms of damage and mana usage compared to the Thunderstrike. It means that you don't need to use as many mangoes, and you just go the trading build. This is almost identical, actually, to the item build that a lot of the pros are using, and I've had a lot of success personally in my pubs as well. So I actually quite like Meteor Gaming's draft this time around. I feel like every time that the Primal Beast is trying to use all of his magic damage to be able to take out the high armor Naga Siren, she's going to be able to A, run away because she's very quickly, or B, he's just going to get glimpsed back and it's not going to have too much of effectiveness. So I actually don't hate Meteor's draft. What do you reckon?
It does seem like Raid and cover each other pretty nicely. I think for Dire, you're going to have a lot of emphasis on trying to get on top of the sniper, and you've got the Riki to play in front of him to kind of scout out the Naga illusions to help keep waves in a good position. If you ever get onto the Naga, you can use Song. So if you ever get onto the sniper, you can use Song to reposition, and then once Dire kind of heavily commit, all of a sudden you're in a tricky spot. So I think that's kind of the nice thing that Radiant are able to play around with, but I'm not too concerned about the Naga's illusions, in particular inside the fights, because that's where the Primal Beast is able to address it. And I really think this Rubik is just the biggest counter to the Disruptor now with that Aghanim Shard. And I don't think they have a lineup where they can look to play really aggressive and play off the back of glimpses instead.
Even with the Naga illusions, do you think they could like be the thing to use for Vision to try and catch out the Rubik, glimpse him back, take him out, and then take the team fight?
I don't think the Rubik should ever be in a position where you get glimpsed and get brought down to star. Maybe that's where you use Song to get on top of... Look, they've got a Primal Beast, Night Stalker, and a Sven that can position in front of him. And you're going to have vision advantage with the Dark Ascension as well. I really don't think Rubik should be caught out of position in a game like this.
Probably shouldn't, to be honest. And I mean, again, imagine if Rubik's able to steal Glimpse, right? All of the cast range on Glimpse plus a Night Stalker. It's kind of nutty that you're actually the ones that are going to be able to find pickoffs. I still kind of want to put it out there and just think that Meteor can take this. I think they've got the avenues. I don't think this is a massive outdraft either ways, like it was in games number 1 and
So the one interesting thing that we do have is this Night Stalker carry, something that we've really only seen put in the carry role against some like Helm of the Overlord hero, where you can get a really fast way to address that thanks to the Aghanim Shard. So what do we feel is like the reasoning for them to give the carry, the Night Stalker in the carry role?
Good question, to be honest. I think they just needed something else that was able to get in onto the back lines, and that was what they felt comfortable with. It's not like it's an amazing lane against the death, and you've got a double melee lane as well, so Ricky's going to be able to do a good enough job trading right clicks with you. All of that armor that Ricky's got to play with, you can see he's itemized for the Orb of Venom, just because he knows that he's going to have the extra mobility versus almost every single hero. Last time we actually saw the Night Stalker pos one, was it like mid one playing it for SMG when he was carry?
The only one I can remember is when Martu played it at TI, but I'm sure that's the only one I've seen recently. I'm sure there has been some others though.
TZ actually ended up going for the Thunderstrike first instead of the Glimpse, but luckily for there wasn't any super deep dives coming through from the Primal Beast. In the meantime, he's been able to get a double stack off and try and push the wave closer back towards his tower, so it's a lot harder to go for those gank attempts.
One thing that we do have to keep in mind, this is kind of the disruptor into the Primal Beast was also something that a lot of the teams favored in the last chance qualifiers.
Bottom lane.
Which, yeah, speaking about it, NJ, I look for the long charge, but there's a glimpse. See you later, buddy.
Back you go.
That's exactly kind of what we saw again at the last chance qualifiers. It was really the Eastern European teams that brought it to the forefront. We saw Liquid look to utilize it a lot in their last games to, of course, qualify to the group stages. But yeah, it was like the disruptor, the clockwork. So we'll see how TC is going to be able to play against NJ.
like that he's prioritized killing these illusions as well. This early on, before Naga gets too much in the form of stats, your heavy right-click damage on the Primal Beast still does a lot to be able to take care of them. So, does mean that you just get a little bit of that extra gold in the lane, not even needing to expend the trample for it. Actually going to go for another dive, but again, Glimpse just completely negates it. This is the lane that I was talking about, and, well, Primal's actually running a little short on mana. Mangoed up by DQQ. Prevents the amount of times that he can look to go for these gank attempts.
A lot of aggression onto the Naga, though, just trying to prevent her from being able to get as much farm as possible. They are doing a good job at that, at least in that regard. And in the opposite lane zone, attempting to get aggressive onto the sniper as well, but the shrapnel would be that deterrent, so YRG is going to be okay. They're even trying to bring Ricky over as well. This will get scouted out with the Observe Ward, so Zone is going to be able to reposition accordingly.
Wonder if you can even consider, he's holding on to the third point here on the Disruptor. Wonder if he's considering just using the kinetic field in case they go for a dive underneath the tower, not using the Glimpse, and just trying to get the tower damage to take care of the Primal for the most part.
That could be a great way to help them reposition out to the left or the right. Maybe even have the Ricky TP in.
Someone else right now, though, for NJ to farm all underneath this tower, and he's making sure to keep this wave in a really dangerous spot as well. So not too much that can do about it, but this terrible Kobold soldier camp means that this lane is not going to be fixed too much either. It's the siege creep wave as well, so those neutrals are going to fall down pretty damn quickly as DQQ actually makes the rotation back, realizing that NJ is not in a position where he's going to be dying anytime soon. Even with Ray making his rotation through, they want to try and get this early kill onto the sniper. Would be a great way to enable Zone to start what Shadow Fiends need, and that's that snowballing start where you just amp up the damage and go from there.
And I think Radiant's Ward just expired as well, so I don't believe they're too aware of this. And honestly, with the position of the lanes, it's not going to be easy for them to read it. You've got, I think top lane's going to be equal. They've got no vision here. You're probably anticipating the wave's going to get pulled as well, so maybe expecting a support to be there. Bottom's directly underneath NJ's tower, so he doesn't need his support for the next little bit of time. So
they could assume he's stacking, for example.
Yep, exactly.
Like there's many things that DQQ could be doing at this time. Could be even looking to get some like super deep wards up, knowing that Naga Sirens tend to like to go back to the jungle, setting up for future ganks in around the 10 or so minute mark.
Yeah, both these mid laners are going to be very vulnerable to these rotations. We just saw the Ricky attempt it. So if it's Dire that actually makes that first successful rotation, then all of a sudden this lane could just snowball out of control, or really just, it could just help the supports get a little bit more levels to make it even a little bit more gold. Say if Ruby gets boots at an early stages, or even Ray as well, that would just make it that much easier to be able to wrap behind the sniper and get that stun to allow the Shadow Fiend to get the razors. So you've got to be really cautious to not feed away this kill. We'll see if YRG is able to read it.
Yeah, I mean, this just comes down to like played experience, like how many times you've played against these guys in your pubs, how habit formed are they, where they like, do the exact same thing every single time, and how adaptable do you think they are based on what we saw in games 1 and 2? There wasn't that many mid rotations in those first 2 games, so maybe they'll be able to catch the sniper off guard. Yeah,
really the only rotations we saw was trying to get the power runes. It wasn't like, this is not even at the timing to rotate for the power runes. It's usually you'll start to move at like the 45-second mark. So this move is them going for the kill. You've got great positioning with the cliff, and maybe even they're considering like, all right, but potential wards expired. And I mean, that's exactly what happened. Like YRG just had a ward mid, it just expired. So maybe they're like, all right, if we move a little bit earlier before the rune timing, he might not have a ward set up already by support to help protect him.
He might kind of know what's going on, though, because if you have a look at him, like, he's mid-cast of Shrapnel right now, and it's level 3, so that's going to do a good job of pushing the lane out. Obviously, you kind of want to do that against a Shadow Fiend because he's just raising the wave back in your favor, but he might just say, look, I want to make sure that I'm not going to get dived underneath the tower with creeps assisting it, so let's just push the wave out now and then back off. It's a question of where does he back off to, though? Maybe just wanting to have bit more information as to where these supports might be.
Do we feel like the supports this game are really the playmakers? Are there any cores we need to look to, not just through the first 10 minutes, maybe even like the first 15 minutes, to be the ones like making plays across the map and getting aggressive?
Good question, right? Like, because it's not. I think going into the late game, there's not like a massive favor for either team. Like, you've got Naga and Sniper on one team, both incredibly strong. But then you've also got a Primal Beast who's able to deal with the illusions incredibly well. You've got a Night Stalker who's going to be an absolute terror for the backlines and taking out a big portion of the team fight in the form of the Disruptor. And then Shadow Fiend's a pretty decent right-clicking beast in his own right. So I think in terms of the early gameplay, it's not necessarily about making the plays happen. It's just preventing your cores from dying. And obviously both teams favor their drafts. They wouldn't have drafted them if they didn't, right? So I think they both feel like they've got the capability to go into the late game.
So we expecting maybe a little bit more of a slower paced game 3 here to get both sides just, get stable, get their footing, find that farm. Does that mean it's going to be a lot off the back of like this kind of ward formation around the river just to scout out if that enemy team is kind of crossing into the opposition's half?
Yeah, crossing into the enemy's half, or even just what power rune is available, right? Because that can be the thing that breaks the game open. Sure. A Shadow Fiend with haste, for example, is super capable of killing a Naga Siren. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I mean, it's only been 0 kills, and it's already the 5.5 minute mark. Could be 1. Now onto the Sniper, but we will have to wait and see.
With the patch on the horizon, let's do some creative thinking here. Some theory crafting. We haven't seen changes to the power runes in quite some time, and even a new one added as well. Oh god, he's come back. Oh no.
Maybe we don't want to hear us talk about the game, our stupid theories coming through. I'll have a think about it. We've got the game to play right now, but I'll have a think about what extra rune we could get.
We'll see how creative you can be, and if YRG is going to be in the mindset he needs to keep his life, and it looks like that's not the case. DQQ can telekinesis him back over to Zone's grasping hands as it's Rayther comes here. Thank you, brother. Hey, look, I made the rotation all the way down from top. You should reward me for making that play. I was definitely needed.
Means he's going to get his boots as well if he wanted to. He's already sitting very healthy in terms of regen, wards, everything, and even he's looking to protect that power rune as well with his body, not putting down any kind of observer ward for that feat. It's just off the back of some really good lane positioning though, right? Primal was farming under the tower, Night Stalker as well.
Zone might be in some trouble. Kinetic field to get that shrapnel damage going, but Zone will just do the easy thing and TP out. Which it doesn't look like Rubik has that capability, but won't even matter. Multiple stick charges to play with and no damage for raiding to continue the chase.
Still though, you'd have to say that Mystique are fairly happy with how that one's turned out. They might even be looking to see, with the damage that the shrapnel was doing, that it's been put a few points into it. So Ray might choose to see if there's been any stacks built up inside of the triangle. Hasn't been just yet, but of course it's good to scout out that sort of thing when you've got heroes like a Shadow Fiend or a Primal Beast that are very quickly able to steal them away.
See if YRG is going to be able to read this again. Sitting off to the left side, but it's going to be DQQ that actually backs off and will continue to try and make some stacks.
He didn't walk perfectly inside of the Fog of War, so that they know that he's been walking around probably on a courier killings mission, and well, he's already gotten one on the way back towards his lane.
DQQ is going to be in some trouble. The assassinate from downtown to help out with the damage, but they're going to be cautious how long they want to take to fight. As Zone's now rocked up. We'll try and get the razors going, but the silence going to prevent that follow-up damage as Marblu will just escape. Great use of the blink to find the distance to get out.
That 6 armor that Ricky has really coming in handy there. Doesn't stop them from taking the stack that had been built up for the Shadow Fiend, but of course, really important to just try and take that any potential away from to be able to snowball more than he naturally does. Ray's, speaking of that, will probably start to build up a few stacks for the SF just so that he can keep the ball rolling.
So we've seen a lot of attention's been put around the mid lane against the Sniper and the Shadow Fiend, which means all the cores in the side lanes have had a pretty free time.
movement from Night Stalker that probably isn't completely expected. Are they in a position to kill anything, though? This is a deep dive if they were to go for it. And Sniper, good map awareness as well. They're probably saying, well, where the hell's Night Stalker right now? Not the greatest jungler.
And they're going to see him.
Yeah. Did they get the DP? Nope. Good positioning by Marblu.
And the DP is at one person I want to see activated out of Radiant. With that Exo, can definitely look to open up the map, get some pressure into the tower, but how can they do that here for Meteor?
To enable the DP? Honestly, they probably can't. Maybe it's going to be on the back of the DP getting dived upon. She has, how many points in Spirit Siphon? All 4, actually. So plenty survivable if she does get gone on. And then it's just a matter of making a TP happen. Maybe they back off, and then you use the glimpse back to be able to get a kill. Perhaps use that to convert into a tower. So I think Molasses is probably going to be kept on his own for a majority of his time up here.
Obviously, with all that free space that he is getting, is definitely having a great start. Top of the net worth, but be casualty of war with this smoke. They're going to be bringing 2 members. And in that smoke party is going to be the Shadow Fiend, so require out the SF damage to be able to secure the kill. With the Night Stalker Dark Ascension, they'll easily scout him out, ducking into the tree line. There's going to be no escape across the map, though. There will be an invasion party inside Dire's own jungle. They're not going to have the damage at the moment to kill a DQQ. It's now with the pulverize from NJ. Kills off TZ. Can they get him one more right click? He gets the kill anyway, but it really doesn't matter. NJ's rotation with that pulverize secures them a big kill onto the sniper, and these early game movements from Team Mystique have been on point.
It was a very deep movement from the sniper, it has to be said, especially considering you did nothing to control that high ground cliff ward, so every little bit of his movement was completely scouted out. The plus side is you've still got the net worth lead on the back of the Naga Siren being basically uncontested, so Meteor Gaming can look to play off the comfort of knowing that. He's going to be scouted out somewhat by Ray, and I kind of feel like Ray could even just look to follow him around. Just make sure that he's not getting any of this farm completely for free. Even soaking up the experience can do quite a lot against a Naga Siren, who most of your last hits come off the back of your illusions, so you can oftentimes fall behind in experience at the levels.
Oh, here we go. This is how they're going to look to try and unlock the Death Prophet. Oh, they saw the Exo? All right. Well, maybe this might warrant them to try and defend this tier 1 tower. They're going to need to bring a little bit more numbers to make this attempt.
They really want to keep that siege creep alive, not making the same mistake they made in game number 1. And they will do so.
Ray's going to be the first one to lead in. Sets up for NJ. They'll glimpse the Primal Beast back, but he's already done his job. Holding Molasses is into place. Zone's going to try and charge up the Requiem, but the damage just isn't there at the moment. Molasses can stand strong. That's a big victory for Radiant. They have wasted out the Exo duration, so let's see if they're still going to be able to get the tier 1 tower.
I mean, that's the dream for a sniper, right? He just sat back and peeped away from long range, and he was very happy to do so. It means that you don't die just yet on the Death Prophet. You still probably do take this tier 1 tower. Oh, and they get a glimpse in onto the SF. Glimpse level 3 available, so if they wanted to go for a dive, they could, but they know that the Pulverize still wasn't used, and you don't quite yet have that level 6 on the Disruptor. So, pretty happy just to get a tower for free with Naga farming all the while.
And looking at the Naga even more, it definitely feels like her illusions in particular with pushing out side lanes is, I actually don't think something that Dire can address. Your 2 supports definitely cannot. Your Primal Beast can, but this hero is not the most mobile. Like, Onslaught's got a pretty big cooldown, 16. You can't really use it to get across the map easily. Maybe Blink will help out there, but... And this is a Night Stalker. I mean, even if you went into the Aghanim Scepter just for that own reason to help with dealing with the illusions, it's 4,200 gold, and I don't even think it'd be enough damage to do it. So we spoke a lot about like the
Sorry, TZ was doing a clever play with his illusion, just seeing if Primal Beast would pulverize it. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'll hold that thought, because it does look like Dire's going to try and make a tent with a smoke on 3. Their target is the Naga inside the triangle. It's not going to be an easy way for them to start the fight. They'll need to pop the Dark Ascension. He might just song instantly, but he doesn't have a skill point though. And with the daytime, smoke pops and... Oh, an awkward smoke for Dire. And now look what they're getting out of the map. Top lane's completely shoved in. Molasses, he's free farming bottom. They're getting a lot out of the other lanes, and they might even look to try and take this team fight. EQQ gonna be glimpsed back. Static Storm even layered down as well, just to help secure the kill onto the Rubik. TZ, no messing around, but Nemo Naga's even caught up to Rage. They have a way to cancel the TP, and that kill, just giving him the level 10, putting a point into the ultimate. A long cooldown, but a kill nonetheless.
Wonder if they'll get the sense that they might have put down one of these Deep Observer wards as well, which, again, I don't think they're going to be going for any smokes anytime soon on Meteor. You know, you've got an Argasar, and you've got who, to be fair, didn't have the greatest laning stage, obviously giving up that first blood, and he's sitting at the bottom of the net worth for his team, but you can see that he's not really gone that full farming, creep-hitting route, you know? It's more about keeping the lane shoved in. It's more about protecting the Naga's farm.
Dark Ascension used inside the river, but just glimpsed him away. Oh, yeah. No.
Was the glimpse used before the Dark Ascension was popped?
No, he used the Dark Ascension, then got glimpsed just before he was able to get in range for the Crippling Fear.
Okay. Yeah, because the range isn't that... sorry, your vision isn't that great once the Dark Ascension's popped, so I was like, really? He didn't get silenced before he got the glimpse off, but very fast fingers coming through, I suppose. Oh, that ward inside of the Radiant Triangle. Ancient camp area, sorry. Just out of range of the Sentry ward.
Oh, Blues. They have a Sentry? Oh, no. They're going to smoke and try and contest this. Blue to start.
He's
going to be cautious if they group up. Putting a lot of their attention over towards the Rick here, but they're not going to be able to bring him down. Now, Molasses can look to enter the fight off the back of the Exorcism, but he might not be strong enough to win this as NJ just goes straight towards the Sniper, pummel him into the ground. It sets up for zone, and the Knight's not going to get the damage going. The Naga was able to wrap onto the backline and get some revenge, but it wasn't enough to turn the team fight into their favor. So they're still looking for more. Could be the Disruptor who's this last target. Okay, Nick Field will hold them back, and that'll be all she wrote. So in the end, a 3 for 2, favoring Mystique.
Yeah. You'd be happy with that one on Mystique, just keeping the Sniper in the bin, preventing him. I mean, he knows he's one of the main targets, right? As they actually get a cheeky little sleep off onto the Sven, just letting him know what the situation is. Should probably
it's not looking like a good situation. Back as he got boys. Lads, help me. Sirs, please.
Not a chance. You're a god, my brother.
Can't see brother go down like that. They gotta make amends for it. They're ready to go though. I think Moblin might have just got a glimpse of DQQ. Now we'll get confirmation of their positioning. Not even block the stack. A little bit too late.
I like YRG not getting super greedy, right? The only reason he died that time is because Primal Beast is trampling on top of him. You've got the raise damage coming through off the back of the slows, and he just wants to BKB. He wants to make himself not a free kill on this map. He knows Naga's going to carry this game if it gets to the later stages, but right now he just needs to make sure that he's not feeding too much of that gold away while still being able to push out lanes, and he's doing that with the Shrapnel build, so I quite like how he's skilling this game.
Oh, Marblu, no.
Oh,
bit too late to use the tricks of the trade to dodge the Sven stun, so Marblu will end up going down. Now bottom lane though, the Nightstalker, no, he's onto the Sniper. The glimpse will come out the last second. Can he get the Void off? That's still on cooldown. Great glimpse from TZ. It probably will cost him his own life, but that is a worthwhile sacrifice from the support.
Very, very nicely done. Where's the tip? That's where you need the tip coming through from your teammate, letting you know you did a very nice job. And this is also the, am I wrong? No, it's my bad. So not a really big window for them to be able to make a lot of stuff happen, maybe get a bit more aggressive with their farm, but any time that you're able to just kite out a Dark Ascension without a core going down, it's a big win for your team.
Yep. Multiple Dark Ascensions we've seen used now to no avail, and this is a Orchid picked up already for the Naga Siren. Mantle, Orchid, top of the net worth. Who is his target going to be inside the team fights here for the Naga? Who does he want to be prioritizing with this silence now?
Honestly, the Primal wouldn't be the worst, just because a big part of his damage output is that magic, just to be able to get off the slow as well from the Uproar, so I really wouldn't hate seeing them use it on that. I would have said the SF, but he's just picked up the BKB for himself, so he is much more survivable, and we don't see an Aghanim Shard just yet coming out for the Rubik, so He's opted to go for the Aether Lens first, feeling like maybe they need to get a little bit more active, get a few more kills on the board, but definitely want to see that being his next item.
Bottom lane, they're setting up on the Night Stalker, but Dire inside the river is starting to make their way bottom, so Ricky and the boys will think twice about this. Of course, not an easy kill to the carry. 1800 health with the armlet activated.
Zone's being very careful not to just reveal himself completely on the lane, trying to nuke these waves down as quickly as he can to not show that he has the
they're going back for him bottom.
BKB.
Sleeping Dart into the Exo committed.
Oh, he
should
got
be
out
able to
on Sniper
secure
as
with
well.
a kill.
I think that was just luck. He TP'd to the outpost, 6-second TP underneath his tier 1 tower, and that's exactly where Mystique were making that rotation through. Could they look to Song here? Maybe if they clumped up a little more, but they'll be able to get a free kill onto the Sven. Happy enough for that.
They're playing the map really well, and I feel like a lot of this comes off the back of the Ricky. His scouting shenanigans and always just having that being utilized as a roaming ward to see wherever Mystique are playing.
Got down a lot of deep wards again. The Naga Siren Illusion's doing a lot of that job as well on the top side. I've talked about Sniper's Shrapnel build. Just it's that ghost push, right? Don't show yourself in the lane. Just throw an ability and then get out to the safety of where you've actually got some decent vision. So again, Meteor, I really like the way that they've addressed this game. It feels like they're all on the same page in terms of their overall macro strategy.
Has to be said as well, it's definitely a different sort of style here for Mystique. We're seeing them play a lot off the back of this Nature's Prophet in Game 1 and Game 2, having this kind of fast tempo lineup. And well, this Game 3 in particular, it's been very slow from them. 20 minutes in, 9 kills apiece, but they haven't really been the ones making that aggressive maneuver into Radiant side of the map. They're just happy with getting their farm. It's just a question if can they hit their timings, because Meteor, well, they feel like they're ready to go. Molasses just charging up into the triangle, trying to protect that power rune, but it's only a regen, nothing too crazy.
They might feel like they're ready to go, but I really hope.
Marblue, in combination with the Naga Siren, they're going to need some TPs coming out pretty goddamn fast, but it might be too late. Can they turn it back around, however? NJ's hesitant. Naga can look to use this song, but the rest of the boys are actually starting to make their way to top. Meteor and said they want to take the team fight. They'll turn their attention over to DQQ. An easy kill for them to find, or is it easy? The Pulverize protects the Rubik long enough for him to be able to escape. Another Naga Siren, she's the one that's in trouble. The trample will bring her down at the last second. Now NJ, he's looking for more, but he's got to double back. Hesitant because the rest of the team, they've come on over. Static Storm to lock him in. Molasses has shown up, and all of Meteor will be rewarded with getting the kill onto NJ. Beautifully done, coming fast enough to help take that team fight.
Oh, I said they were all on the same page, and I was a little worried at that point because I was like, he's songed. He's standing next to a lot of these high damage heroes. Where are the boys? They were prioritized with trying to take out that Shadow Fiend. He was able to get the BKB TP off back to base and be that stopgap between the Naga Siren and the rest of his team. But, well, they still were able to get a 3-for-1 hero trade on Meteor. So even though your Naga Siren ends up dying, spends a lot of time off the map, you do still win out on the trade. Get a BKB popped, get 3 kills, you're still satisfied.
What are your thoughts on Rubik going for the Blink next item?
Don't like it. I mean, we've seen the greatness that the Active Shard provides, right? And I mean, even little things like, let's say, for example, you're able to steal Song of the Siren somehow, because you've got the Aether Lens, it's possible, and the Ring of the Vizier. If you even stole Song, that's a bunch of HP back for the rest of your team, if you're able to get that one off. So it just buffs everything up, not just the Static Storm denial.
Yeah, and it's a denial of the potential sleeping dart to allow the rest of the team to close the distance, the potential to be able to stop the Naga Siren from just locking down one person and being able to blow them up. I think the shards would provide them a whole lot of defensive kind of toolkit that they're really requiring these fights. So
I'm just trying to think what the Blink is actually looking to do, you know? Like what's it enabling? Because you've got BKB on the Primal Beast. You're going to have a BKB soon on the Night Stalker. You've got one on the Shadow
Jungle. Static Storm onto 2. Shadow Fiend's got a BKB. He's going to be forced to use it. Little BKB as a way to run away instead of taking a team fight. So down to 7 seconds here for Zone.
Tier 2 tower top, almost gone as well. Really does feel like both teams are just waiting for these BKBs to come out. YRG's got his. Death Prophet actually went away from it. She was going to look to build into it, but instead opting for the Heaven's Halberd instead. Really don't hate it. I mean, again, with these BKBs being expended, the value of that one just goes up more and more.
Is a heart completed? I think it is.
Yep.
Oh god, she's so farmed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's actually so farmed.
What can you do?
What can
and
you
all
do?
this
It's
physical
just...
damage as well, right? Like, how are you going to kill the real Naga Siren with the heart, with the Ricky Sleep Dart as well, just providing all of that mischance from the smoke screen and going into a butterfly next with no real ways to stop her.
Dark Ascension used just for a measly disruptor. They got the kill, but I don't know if that's a worthwhile kill to expend your Dark Ascension with.
Definitely not. I'm sure they were hoping to be able to claim something else, maybe thinking that Rubik might have been able to steal something. They'll be able to get a tier 1 tower at least, you would assume. Let's go Sven. Pos 5 Sven. Hit that tower. Steals the last hit.
What's he queued up? He's already got his...
Don't hate it.
He's like, all right, come on, boys. You know, Solar Crest. It's gonna help you do a little bit more damage, get that attack speed going. I need the net worth. I need the gold.
Mm-hmm.
We were just speaking about the Naga Siren, kind of the difficulties that they might have. NJ, you see his itemization, Shivas, and Scepter. So that's definitely gonna help out in fights. But again, it's just a question of like out of fights. Yeah, good luck dealing with him, and now good luck even dealing with Radiant having an Aegis advantage, because looks like Mystique will be a little bit too late to contest this, even though the scan was on point.
It's still going to give it over to the Naga. I feel like he's going to play a lot more aggressively.
Be able to Sleeping Dart the Night Stalker, but the rest of Dire are nearby. They're going to be cautious. Zone, he's going to try and charge up the Requiem straight on top of the Death Prophet. They'll slam her down to the ground and get an easy kill as a result of this, but they've got to be cautious though. Song does get stolen, so they can counter-initiate if Radiant want to take the fight off the back of this Song, and that won't be the case. They'll use it defensively to reposition. It's Mystique. Have to be happy with that. A big kill onto Molasses Death Prophet.
Yeah, didn't use it to be able to save the DP, which I'm a little surprised about, you know? You just picked up the Aegis. I feel like Naga could have definitely looked to put herself in onto the front lines. Wasn't able to get the Greaves off, wasn't able to get any Spirit Siphons off as well, which almost certainly would have meant the DP survives and you get good value out of that Exorcism. So, again, they're cutting their losses. They don't lose anything massive, but it just gives...
Ooh. DQQ ran out of... Oh, no.
Feels bad.
That's tough, man, because that Song would have been so nice to use in this next team fight.
Mm-hmm. Might be the case of like, well, he's stolen Smokescreen anyway now. They feel like without the Exorcism, they don't feel like they can take a team fight just yet, but I'm not so sure. You're gonna need the SF to join in onto this fight though. Not quite yet level 18. Would be great, of course, to have that extra level in the Requiem, but right now, just putting himself on the front lines, trying to take away as much of that map as he can. He's not content with just farming the top side. He wants bottom, he wants top, he wants mid, he wants your entire map.
And he'll get it. This Naga with almost Butterfly completed. The Shadow Fiend is going to have some difficulties with getting that right-click damage going.
Got to be careful about using
on.
the glyph as well, right? Like, you've already lost a tier 2 tower top. They won't have the refresh of the glyph if it ends up going down. So yeah, you're basically just giving this one up for free. YRG with a BKB means that he isn't an easy kill anymore. They immediately go for the smoke afterwards.
Who's the target? They don't have any vision inside Dire's own top jungle. So no one they're able to scout at the moment. They might bypass zone, however. Or do they just want to get themselves set up with the Naga Siren pushing the tower and play behind him?
They're not wanting to make it too obvious, just doing normal Naga Siren things. They know they were playing around that region. They're using the creeps to push it in, make sure that the tower gets hit a few times. They were in position to potentially catch the SF if he chose to defend the mid tier 2.
Well, they might bait with this illusion. Let's see. It's the dart. Do they heavily commit? Looks like they've been able to read in illusion.
Night Stalker needs to find the backline. He's got to take out that that Riki or the Disruptor. He's got the BKB, he's got the Dust, he's even got a Titan Sliver as well to provide him a little bit more survivability and damage. But, well, they feel like they're not just ready quite yet. Maybe they're just saying, look, I need BKB. I need to get there immediately because my BKB is already 1 second down. We can't waste any time. Dark Ascension level 18 would be great as well. Just 150 gold away. Maybe wanting to wait out the Aegis timer as well. Really feels to me like that's Mystique's, I don't want to say their last chance, but their
Can
best
Riki
chance.
catch anyone? Oh my god. They showed mid now.
Don't want
He's
to
going to be nearby.
this.
The QQ as well. Now make sure he doesn't have to force out the BKB, but you see Naga just has 0 cares in the world. Finally have to use it defensively once the kinetic field will lock him into place, but that means it's a lot more difficult for the Night Stalker to get those support heroes like you were wanting him to.
Buys out the Blink Dagger, so he still wants to try and do it. It's just on the positioning of TZ. He is going to be the main target. His positioning, though. Just
How do you fight into this?
Away.
This is not an easy team fight to take. Naga on the front, Exo popped. Do you really want it to run into this? It looks like they're going to wait for the exorcism to spiral. Will they? NJ charges into the middle, over towards the Naga side, but they're only just tickling her. NJ's in trouble. Defensive use of the BKB. Now they can look to turn. With the help of the Pulverize, they're only starting to get the right-click damage going. They'll be able to deal with the first life. Finally secures the kill. Now where's the opening to go in afterwards? Night Stalker finds a jump. Now they can move over towards the Naga side, but the support's getting controlled. It gives them an opening to try and deal with the carry, but the damage isn't there at the moment. Naga looks to turn onto the Shadow Fiend. The Death Requiem's not enough to kill off Radiant members. Maybe it's a Night Stalker that can turn it back around. He finds an opening to jump into the middle. All he gets is TZ though. They didn't need more out of it.
Yeah, and now it's daytime. Now you don't have Dark Ascension, and both of the supports, or actually both supports buy back. What can you do against this? Shadow Fiend, even once he comes back, no BKB, no Requiem, no souls to be able to play around with. I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't leave Mystique space.
Even with the respawn, it's not going to be easy to contest this, or they can glimpse him back. TC is going to force start to close the distance. Short range glimpse, but it doesn't matter. Rubik's down. An instant use of the buyback. I don't think they're going to be able to protect this second set as well.
Maybe not even the third, to be honest. SF still just sitting at the 12 soul stolen. They're gonna play
NJ.
conservative route.
Make sure they hold the primal base into place. There's no way for them to disrupt this retreat from Meteor.
Big wave top as well. They might be tempted to go back for that. Anyone close to a big item? I mean, Sniper, again, I think since the very beginning of the game, like, he's died 3 times, but certainly hasn't become that potential feeding hero that we were hoping that he wasn't, right? And ever since then, he's just been slowly creeping up in farm, went from last of the cause to 3rd place. He's now got a Shadow Blade, so he's actually a damage dealer, not just, a little bit of team fight control.
I think they see the couriers flying past the triangle with their own wards, so...
And they back off?
They will. Let's see if they want to stick around maybe to get some damage in the tier 2 tower. They've got a creep wave getting pushed in surely. But they will not get anything out of the smoke. So a ward placed down, getting a little bit of farm inside Radiant's jungle. It does have to be said that even though a full set of barracks and the melee barracks was claimed up top, it is only a 6,000 net worth lead.
Can I have some of the copium that you've got there? Because...
Alright, maybe with this MKB, that copium could be a little bit more realistic, but this smoke could just be...
And the DD is like the one chance that they've got, but who do you even go on to is the question, right? Like, you need to have everything in perfect harmony.
Oh, you gotta hope that they aren't the ones to start the fight. The Dark Ascension, he can still charge on 4, but they're doing such a good job to control the Night Stalker. Another song will give them an opportunity to reset, but the rest of the team are backing off. But the Naga finds the opening for the Static Storm onto 2, and it's both the supports that they're going to be able to bring down. It's up to the cores now to turn it around on Dire as they're getting controlled though. Primal Beast forced to activate his BKB and TP out, and the rest of the team will duck their heads and run away in shame as it's another wasted ultimate from the Night Stalker. Now Radiant, they can look to pillage the last set of barracks down bottom.
Still a little bit left on that exorcism as well, and yeah, I'm not sure about the... Oh, actually might be able to get this onto the
BKB. Can they get anything out of the combo with the Requiem? They
Still
can't. That's... But what can you do now? BKB's on cooldown. They'll just kite him. Dart's there. In fact, they're even going to jump on top of him. Shadowfin's down, out for the count. No buyback for him, and with that death, it's looking like it's going to be Meteor's series and game.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really strong. Even, you know, the Night Stalker, the ults haven't been perfectly on point, but he even went for the kill onto the Disruptor there after the Static Storm had already been used. I mean, that's the big thing that you're worried about in a lot of these team fights, and yeah, it's seems like there's really not too much that they can do. Mega Creep's picked up. Not even a potential to throw them back inside of the fountain. This Naga Siren is proving to be an exceptional pick.
One last defense. That's all you've got left here.
No
a
damage.
4v5, a hope and a prayer, but the throne's just falling to the creeps, and they're even going to call it quits even before making that last attempt. So in the end, it's going to be Meteor that find their first series victory of Division 2.
It is indeed. It turns out that a Meteor was able to kill the dinosaur.